Hello everybody, welcome back to the Panel by Panel Comics YouTube channel with me, your host Jay. Today is my buy or sell video. I have 5 new comics that came out this week, so let's go ahead and get right into them. But before we get too deep into the video, guys, if you are new here, please hit the like button and the subscribe button as well so you never miss out on my nearly daily comic book content. We have 5 books from this new comic book day to get into. Starting off first, we have Banana Number 1, a one-shot from Bad Idea. And this book was solid. It was very intriguing, very weird. And we start off learning more of the backstory of Banana Number 1, kind of what happened to him and how he became popular. We learn his origin story as Banana Number 2 is getting interrogated, and it's by this government division called BAD, Bureaucratic Assimilation Division. They do this little introduction. They kind of talk about how the fruit people went into the town of Banana Number 2 whenever he was a human. The Kiwis started killing people and munching on them. He was one of the lucky few that lived. Banana Number 1 went in there, talked to them, got them to settle down. He then won the Grand Prix, did all these other things before he was part of the war. Then he joined the war as part of the Bananas. Then we learned that this was all kind of a distraction to help Banana Number 2 get released by Banana Number 1, and then they fly off into the sunset, kind of, to the cows. And that's it. That's the end of the story. It was 17 pages, and then we have a horror little book here at the end, When I Was 5 by Mark Waid and David Latham. And man, this was a really, really dark little mini book talking about this woman who had a younger brother named Davy, and her name was Moira. And then all of a sudden, she's like trying to remember him, and he shows up at her door one day. And all of a sudden, she turns back to whenever she was a kid. But anything that he touches, if it wasn't around whenever he was there or he doesn't understand it, it just vanishes. So one day, whenever she goes off to hang out with her adult friends, because it resets every single day, Davy comes back every single day. It resets, and then we find out, at least I'm guessing here, this is the way that I'm interpreting it. She comes back from the trip, the dog is dead that she got for him, and come to find out, apparently, whenever she was younger, this exact same thing happened, but she was the one with the knife. She had the dog and Davy's blood on her. She went to the hospital, didn't get out until she says 08 or 012. She can't remember. And then we start back right where we left at the very beginning with her trying to remember Davy. And the way that I'm going to interpret that is that she killed her brother, went to like some mental hospital or something, and now she's just trying to remember what happened to her brother because she probably blanked that whole section of her life out. That's the way that I'm going to interpret it. But this one shot, Banana Number 1 from Bad Idea, I am going to say that it is a buy. You have a really funny story at the beginning with Banana Number 1. I want to just go deep into that world. I think you have a real hit there if you try to get some more out of that world. And then also that little mini series or mini shot, whatever you want to call it, with Mark Waid and David Latham. Absolutely horrific, really creepy, really weird. That book overall for me is going to be a buy. Next up, we have Super Mondo Mega Mutts, and I just want to say off the rip, this book has struck gold. I could see this easily becoming a animated show in a couple years, or even, I don't even know how long. This is absolutely amazing and definitely has a chance to be pick of the week. This is amazing. It starts off with this really sad origin story of the character that we come to learn as Mojo, when he basically escaped from his house whenever he was a young pup, got taken in by animal control, got to meet the friends that he will come to know as the Super Mondo Mega Mutts. Really cool 2-page title card there. And then we learn about what actually created the Super Mondo Mega Mutts. It was this big gray glob that landed into downtown LA. They ended up calling it the Gleam. and they try to get in there. When all their technology wouldn't work, they decided to set the dogs in, and the 5 of them became the Super Mondo Mega Mutts. We're then introduced to the antagonist, or villain at least, for this series. He goes by the name of Chrome Dome, and then he calls them the Goo Gang, all his other basically cronies that work for him. And he ends up just shooting and killing this one dude that made fun of him for it. And I will say that was one thing in this issue. It is definitely not kid friendly. A lot of curse words, a lot of blood, a lot of guts, and a lot of, I guess, just adultness. But then we get introduced to all 4 of the Super Mondo Mega Mutts. We already met Mojo, who is more of the splinter of the group, or the man in the chair. We get to meet Freddy, Frankie, Wolf, and Griffey. Show you them one more time so you can try to remember their names, because I cannot recommend this book more. It is just so good. Anyways, they show up and they start beating up on Chrome Dome and his Goo Gang. They do a great job. The art style is really well. It fits the book. And then Kurt Pyers lets the art speak for itself. Then we get to meet this reporter who starts interrogating the detective, trying to find out who these Super Mondo Mega Mutts are, what is really going on in LA. We see that they get their own food from this guy named Luigi. Then Chrome Dome is back home in his hot tub, trying to have a good time with some ladies. Gets a call, kills one of his higher-ups, so he promotes somebody else. And then we have a little cool moment here with the Mega Mutts reading comic books, saying how they're better than novels. And then we have the reporter, who we still don't know the name of yet. She goes to this presser with the mayor and the police chief. I'm trying to find if they actually ever ended up saying her name in the story. To my knowledge, they do not end up saying the name of the detective. No, her name is McKenna. She's the reporter. And then whenever they go to the press conference, well, the Chrome Dome and his Goo Gang show up, and the Super Mondo Mega Mutts, they show up and try to save the day. McKenna is there. She gets her life saved by one of the Super Mondo Mega Mutts. I believe his name is Wolf. It's going to take a while for me to try to remember the names of these characters. Yes, it was Wolf. I'm actually kind of proud of that. Anyways, the police chief and this guy who is the owner of this company called the Gleam Security, he ends up killing the mayor. So the mayor is now dead, and he was actually in cahoots with Chrome Dome the entire time. And there's somebody on their tail. They escape from the press conference. A huge and a fantastic opening issue. This is 1000% a buy. Even though it was $7 for 40 pages, each page is amazing. It's comedic, it's humorous, it is also emotional, especially with that opening page. They're trying to find their owners, so there's definitely emotion coming from that. And then also just the intense action, the gore, it has it all. This is a fantastic book, probably a 5 out of 5 on League of Comic Geeks, and it is 1000% a buy, well worth all $7. Next up, the third book I have to talk about is What If Jessica Jones. This is issue number 1, a one-shot. What if Jessica Jones was bitten by the radioactive spider instead of Peter Parker? It starts off with her origin story. Basically, it's told in one page. She put her hand down, got bit by a spider, and Peter didn't. It's literally as simple as that. There's nothing extra to it. We see that she's a bartender at Luke's bar, which is owned by Luke Cage. Don't know if they are romantic in this universe, but it's not really that important to the story. Instead, Jessica becomes she's still an investigator. She has this person come in talking about her old suit. Yes, this was her old suit. It's a suit, I guess. Catchy little jingle. Spider Girl, watch her twirl, watch her sway. She'll save the day in a groovy way. It's whatever. Anyway, she goes to investigate the crime scene of Kingpin, who was murdered. She sees a little green goblin bomb or pumpkin bomb hiding out, and she assumes that it's Norman Osborn, who in this universe is also the Green Goblin. Jessica gets tracked down by this police officer who she kind of gets along with. They hit it off and They're just really good friends. And then the Green Goblin shows up to what was supposed to be a press conference for the mayor. We get a flashback of how she revealed Norman Osborn to the world. He eventually ended up killing himself because he was publicly humiliated, which I did not see happening whatsoever. The story continues. She tracks down Green Goblin, and then we're also told about how originally she just wanted to get attention, and then she grew out of that. It's whatever. And we get a reveal of who this Norman Osborn is, or who this Green Goblin is, because it's not Norman Osborn. Anyways, What If Jessica Jones for me was a bit of a letdown. This is going to be a sell. I don't think it's a necessary buy. I don't think it's something that you have to go get from your local comic shop. Unless you're a huge Jessica Jones fan and you just collect all her stuff, that'd be the only reason. Outside of that, unfortunately, What If Jessica Jones is a sell. Our fourth book that we were talking about is Kingdom of Earth. Now this book it's not too bad. It's actually pretty decent. I didn't mind it too bad. I think this book is going to come down to a case of if I can live without it, and I think I can. It's 32 pages for $5. David Smallton writes this book. We are introduced to this world where essentially 2 years ago in this universe, animals and monsters rose from the earth and the sea, and they have taken over, and now the humans are the meat / the food. They are the ones getting eaten. The animals are the ones that live above all. And this cargo ship gets stopped, and we're introduced to a character named Orpheus Knox. She's essentially the watcher of this transportation with all the human meat on it. She gets there, appoints somebody new. That person has to kill the predecessor, and her name is Virago. And we just come to barely even know anything about her. Orpheus Knox is trying to ascend through the role. We do see one kid escaped from the train after they got put onto cars and were going to be shipped off to other places. And she escapes to this house, escapes from these monsters, but then gets picked up by the character we saw earlier in Virago and tells her to be quiet. And she takes her to this house and she says, "Where else are you going to go? You have to go with me." And it's an interesting concept. I like the idea of if the monsters were humans or overtook the humans and the humans became lesser beings in the planets. I think it's an interesting concept. I just don't know if it works for me in the first half. I couldn't get attached to it. It felt like we jumped in way too fast. I wish we would have got to see the monsters and aliens or whatever take control of the world and do that, and then you can have a time jump to the future. But personally, this is issue 1 of a 4-issue mini, and it did not drag me in enough. So Kingdom of Earth, unfortunately for me, is going to be a sell, but I think there is a world where this could definitely work for somebody. It feels like I just didn't get attached to it, and that's just me personally. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. So last and maybe least, after reading it, we have Minotaur issue 1 from Ignition Press. Now this was a pretty big letdown. It's 32 pages for $5. This story follows Gloria Monday, a photojournalist, and she has a bodyguard named Sarah and this tech bro named Rafael Romero. He is funding her to go on this mission to go find this scoop where essentially a US government trial, I guess, went wrong. Energy spiked, and whenever they pulled, sorry, I think I just hit the mic. Energy spiked, and whenever they pulled the plug on a project, the whole world went crazy, or this section of this world, this seed is what we're going to call it. It essentially went crazy. A whole bunch of magical beings and these powers and all this crazy stuff. It went out into the world, all this technology, and they go trying to look for it. They find this doctor in this underground bunker, which we end up calling the Seed. She's trying to find out what's going on. He recognizes her as a reporter. Whenever they touch hands, though, whenever Gloria touches, I guess, a section of the building, there's this creature that shows up who's on the front cover. I'm gonna call him Minotaur, I guess. He says, "Gloria," trying to talk to her, it appears. The doctor, or the scientist, ends up kicking them out after she basically dogs on this whole place that he's committed his world to. He's kind of like, this place, I don't know why, but it still thinks I'm here. And whenever Gloria and Sarah go out, they see this tiger, which is supposedly going to be one of these animals that this technology created. But then it puffs in the middle of the air, and Sarah and Gloria are going to go on. They're going to go for a drink because they've been seeing things. But personally, I couldn't get connected to this story. I thought the first 15 pages were really boring. I thought it got decently okay towards the last 5 to 8. But personally, Minotaur issue 1 from Ignition Press is unfortunately going to be a sell. It just did not keep me entertained, and it's kind of sad because I love Ignition Press. I like a lot of their books. Unfortunately, Spurrier and Dowling's art was actually pretty good. It was just the story from Simon Spurrier that I couldn't get into. So it is going to be a sell. But guys, let me know down below, what is your favorite issue 1 from this new comic book week? And is there any books that have surprised you so far? Let me know down in the comments below. But remember, keep reading those comics panel by panel. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day.